This video is about compound events, so it has to deal with probability. And so there's different ways that we want to look at how we find that probability given different scenarios. So we're going to look at a few examples. We're going to look at dependent events. So that means that one outcome, when I have an outcome and I'm looking for a couple, that the second outcome will be affected by the first event that happened. So an example would be drawing one card after another. We can also have dependent events as well, and so, independent events where the events don't have any correlation to each other. And so what does that probability look like? All right, so some examples. Start with one of them. So these ones are a lot of picture type ones. And rather, let me actually do it this way. And then, okay, so here's our first example. So what it's asking us is, what is the probability that you draw a red card and then spin a 1? So draw a red card and then spin a 1. Okay? So drawing the cards doesn't affect the spinning, and so these are independent events. However, we need to figure out what the probability is. So to find the probability of drawing a red card, we need to know how many red cards there are out of the total. So in this case, we can see there's 2 red cards out of a total of 5. So 2 out of 5 would be our probability of drawing a red card. Then spinning a 1. So now we need to look at how many spaces there are that have a 1 on them out of the total number of spaces. So in this case, there are 4 1s and there are a total of 8 spaces. And what we do with this is we go ahead and multiply those probabilities. So 2 times 4 is 8, 5 times 8 is 40. And then we want to reduce. 8 goes into both. 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 45. So the probability of drawing a red card and then spinning a 1 is 1/5. Let's look at the next example. Let's suppose you are taking a quiz. And that quiz has 4 true-false questions. We'll abbreviate. What is the probability of getting 100% by randomly guessing the answers? So we want to ace this quiz, but we want to do it by guessing. All right, so we have to look at this one a little bit different because we have 4 different distinct questions. So each question is its own event in essence. So if I go to take this quiz and I am on the first question, how many choices do I have? Well, there are 2 choices and one of them is the right answer. So the probability of getting the first question right is 1 out of 2, right? True, false, two chances. And so I go to the second question, same thing. I have 2 choices. One of them is the right answer, so the probability is 1/2. And as you can see, this becomes a pattern because they're all true or false. Now, what do I do with these? I multiply all of those together. 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, times 1/2. And so on the top we get 1, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So the probability of getting 100% by just randomly guessing is 1/16 of a chance. All right, last example. A sample of 80 kids showed that 45% are female. They were surveyed to see if they were employed outside of school. And 25% of the boys are not employed. Okay, so a sample of 80 kids, 45% are female. They were surveyed to see if they were employed outside of school. Found that 25% of the boys are not employed. How many boys are employed? Are employed. Are employed. Okay. Well, so a sample of 80 kids, 45% of the sample are female. So how many percentage is boys that were surveyed? So again, it has to be 100%. So we know 55% are boys that were surveyed. Okay. Now, what is 55% of 80 kids? Right? So 0.55 times 80 means that there are 44 boys surveyed. Okay? But it says 25% showed that they were not employed, not employees, employed. So, how many is that? Well, what is 25% of 44? So 44 times 0.25 is 11 that are not employed. So if we subtract those, 44 minus 11 means our answer is 33. 33 boys that were surveyed are actually employed outside of school. All right, that's it for this video. So now you'll give me a call. We'll talk about this video and answer any questions that you have. This will also help you on the lesson that follows. Have a great day.